first of all, can we give a round of applause for all these kids in Newton High School? They have done a tremendous job, and they deserve these accolades. Can we just go around and introduce everyone who's a student from Newton High School who worked on this exhibit? Could you go around here and just introduce yourself very quickly? Moving around.
Jennifer Scott, Daniel Frank,
Who else we got over here?
Bryce Griffiths, Lindsay Stewart.
I'm Jeremy Messer. Marty McFly.
Marty McFly. Well, I hope that everyone gets a chance. If you don't have the fancy little cell phone that does these interviews on these QR codes, like I have this nice little piece of equipment here. It doesn't do QR codes. But you can go on the YouTube channel that they've set up, and you can see them all at home if you can't see them here. We're also going to have a TV with a DVD player set up. If you come back in on Saturday or anytime over the next year, if you want to see the interviews and you didn't get to see them on your phone, they've done, oh gosh, Steve, what is it, like hours and hours of interviews?
They're not all hours. They're more like about 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, but altogether, it's a tremendous amount of interview material from decade after decade. So again, they've just done a tremendous amount of work here. This all got started. There was a man with a vision last year. Tom Camp was our president. He was thinking of ways to reach out into the community, to involve the community more in what was going on here with the Newnan County Historical Society. Tom went and met with the city. He went and met with the Battlefield Association, met with the high schools. He was trying to be more inclusive and to sort of shake things up here at the Newnan County Historical Society. Tom said, Jeff, I got a mission for you. He said, we got the Newnan High School History Club, him and Jan Booyer. They said they met with Steve and that they wanted to get involved in what we're doing here. They had some good ideas. So sat down with Stephen and Troy, and we just sort of brainstormed about things we might do, and came to the end of it. And we said, I read this article here in a journal about student-curated exhibits. And it's like a light bulb went off with Steve and Troy. They just jumped on that. They thought that was a great idea. Student-curated exhibits. What does that mean? We kind of found out what that meant through the process of doing it. But I have to hand it to you. I don't think you knew exactly what you were taking on when you took the bite out of it. You didn't know exactly what the commitment was going to be. But he said he was going to need the help along the way, and hopefully we gave you the help you needed. But I'll tell you, they just took off and ran with it, and I'm very proud of the results. This could not have been possible without our board members. We have several board members here today. You can raise your hand if you're a Newnan County Historical Society board member. We have Mr. Tom Camp, we have Mike Barber, we have Sarah Lamance, we have Laurie Pope, we have, of course, Pamela Prang, and this would not have been possible without our board. I would like if you could please give our board a round of applause for this. We also have the principal of Newnan High School here today. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for allowing your students to participate in this. As you can tell, you've got some really bright students who aren't afraid to work really hard. And
absolutely. Best teachers go
it all pays off. Did you want to say anything?
I'll tell you, I'm not surprised Mr. Quisenberry has a tendency to always bite off more than he can chew. The social studies department and our students did a fantastic job. It's also exciting to see how much excitement was brought into the building. Getting to walk the halls with some of our returning retired teachers, former students walking the hallways. That still sense of strong community and tradition that's still there. It's just impressive. Not every town has that. We appreciate all the leadership they brought to it, and y'all partnering with us at Newnan High School and continuing that tradition. We appreciate it.
Not every high school has a tradition that's over a century long. That's unusual. University of West Georgia, we have Dr. Keith Hebert here from the University of West Georgia. I want you to know they stepped up to the plate and gave $2,000 toward this exhibit. This exhibit would not have been possible without the financial participation and also moral support all along the way from the University of West Georgia. I'm sorry. Here I am, a student at University of West Georgia. I'm bubbling it up. University of West Georgia Center for Public History. Thanks, Keith, for everything you did. Anything you'd like to say?
Just thank you, for all the wonderful students you sent our way throughout the years. Hope to see many of y'all at the university.
Of course, we have Steve Quisenberry, Troy Cornwell, Aaron Buck, the teachers who headed all this up. The board members I've already mentioned. I want to also mention our wonderful staff. Carrie Adams and Dorothy Pope, without hours and hours and hours of their work here, I think that this would not have been possible either, because Dorothy was here day after day after day after day, volunteering her time to get this up and running. And I personally want to thank Dorothy for everything she did, because she really stepped up to the plate on this project.
Will you come home now?
Monday.
I've got two more people I'd like to, well, also, I got to say, Print Source. Print Source is a printer that works, I went to school with a guy, Andy Miller. We were both on the high school newspaper staff together. And I told him, I said, man, this, even with the support of West Georgia, I said, this could be an expensive project. Could you please help us out on this? He did all of the printing on this project, all these boards in here, half price. So I want to thank him for that, because it really allowed us to do a lot more work for less money. And so thanks, Andy, for that. I just have a couple more people to recognize here. I'd like to, Sarah, if you'd like to say something, and then after that I'd like to have Jeremy come forward, the president of the History Club. He has some things he'd like to say. So.
I would like to say that I believe this is an effort of enormous significance to the town of Union. I think that getting young people involved in the significance of our history is just fabulous. It's more than fabulous. And of course the work they've done is incredible. So you may have bitten off more than you could chew, but you and the children delivered. They're not children, you and the kids delivered. It's really fabulous. Thank you.
And it's going to be great for people coming to visit when they see the Male Academy. It's not the same stuff they've seen up here for the last few decades. They've got something new to look at. And it's what could be better than the history of Noonan High School. I'd like to turn it over to Jeremy, the president of the Noonan High School History Club.
If I could start by just extending an overwhelming thank you to everyone who helped with this project. As it's been said, we bit off a lot more than we thought we could chew. But when we called for help, they came, and they helped a lot. I want to thank my peers for really stepping up to the plate. And I want to thank my teachers for inspiring us with the love of history that made this possible. And I really want to thank the Noonan Coweta Historical Society, because this is their facilities, their expertise. They really made it possible. We could have done all this research and it would have looked like we put it together. And thankfully it doesn't. Because none of us have degrees and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I want to thank Noonan High School for giving us the opportunity to do it. During class time when we should have been studying, some of us were thinking about this project. I got out of class a few times to work on it. And I want to foremost thank Mr. Quisenberry for his dedication to the Noonan High School History Department and this project. We couldn't have done it without Mr. Quisenberry. Above all, he gave more service hours and more volunteer work and more quintessential leadership than anyone else. And that's exactly what pulled this project off, was his leadership. And so I want to extend this recognition to Mr. Quisenberry.
Steve, do you have anything you want to say?
Really, I just want to make sure that thank Carrie and Dorothy again.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's no way. Last week, this time when I was in here, I was like, we're not ever pulling this off.
Yeah.
But they came in and did a lot of extra work, and
Sure did.
I appreciate them. Like Troy and I talked several times. We just stood there and looked at it and like we just didn't know where to start. So without them, we would have really been in trouble. So.
I also want to thank the Noonan Times Herald. Celia's here with the paper. They have been so supportive in everything the Noonan Coweta Historical Society does, and they really empower us to get a lot of stuff done and get the word out.